there we go. Yeah, and we are live on SSI's Facebook. Great. Hello, everyone. Hello again. We just had a quick chat already.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you all doing? How are you keeping up?
Fabulous. Yes, thanks. How about you?
I'm great. I'm great always. It's a bit cold. But Belinda and I are both in South Africa, so we're a bit cold. But
Definitely not here.
Definitely not cold here.
That's one of those feelings, actually. I mean, I'm originally from Austria, right? So we have winter, like winters. I'm also from a small town in the mountains where there's snow and winter. So then living in the Philippines for like 6 years, it's just something you never cold. It's like you don't get cold.
We never have seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I miss about the Solomons, you know. And it's also true because you are acclimatized. You know, I've lived in Canada for so long and I was never cold. And then I've lived in the Solomons for 7, 8 years, and now I come to South Africa and I'm freezing. I just can't cope, man. Take me back to the island life.
I still get cold here.
We're all cold the other day. We got in the water for a swim yesterday, and I don't know what was going on. A little bit of rainwater on the surface or something. I don't know. I had goosebumps on my skin. I was like shivering in the water. He's like, "Oh, you've been here too long, man."
You've got island blood now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just go ahead. So sorry, that's just Zoom. Okay, so let's just check what's going on Facebook. See if a few people have joined us. Yes, that's looking great already. Nice amount of people there. Hello, everyone. And I'm just gonna come in and start. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scuba Sunday, our SSI Sunday chats about scuba diving. Today, we have a few very special guests here. We're talking about the Solomon Islands as a destination special. As all our destinations within the SSI system, you will be able to find Solomon Islands on My Dive Guide. So, you know, My Dive Guide on the My SSI system, you will be able to plan your holidays, even though it's still a bit difficult, we all know, but we can all dream, and we're really excited to have you guys. So I have here Belinda, and then I have Jason and Kate. I'm going to ask you guys to just introduce yourselves. I'm going to start with Belinda. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, let me try and keep it short. No, I'm kidding. Hi, everybody. My name is Belinda Puerta. I'm owner-operator of Dive Munda, based in the Solomon Islands. And we're in the Western Province. And although I'm currently stuck in South Africa, that's my home, and it has been for the last 7, 8 years. And it's been an interesting ride being in another country at the moment, but I'm very, very happy and hopeful to get back to Dive Munda very, very soon. I'm also the brain behind Solomon Islands Discovery Cruises, Dive Munda Consulting, and also Crucial COVID Conversations.
Awesome. That's your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Do you have it somewhere else?
We have one for Dive Munda as well, but that was just launched specifically to address the crisis that we are currently facing within the world, just to kind of keep people motivated and positive about, you know, how to diversify.
That's so good. Such an important channel, and so important at this point, just to stay active and also do something. For me, even these little chats that I'm doing, it's just so nice to like keep active, keep speaking to people all over the world, and just keep that diving energy alive in me, even though I'm a bit far from the ocean at the moment. Okay, Kate and Jason, tell us a little bit more about yourselves.
Yeah, best.
So my name's Jason Kelly, and this is my wife, Katie. So we live and work at Uepi Island Resort in the Solomon Islands, again in the Western Province, not far from where Belinda is usually living when she's not trapped over in South Africa. And yeah, this is a family-based scuba diving resort that's been here for a very long time. And we've actually been stuck here on the island in isolation since before COVID, but even, you know, obviously since COVID has started. And we've been isolating here as a family, doing what we can to keep improving our situation and staying positive. And yeah, just embracing the life that we're living at the moment, which has been a really cool, unique experience. So yeah, we've actually been, there's lots of challenges that have come with it as well, but we've been pretty lucky to be where we are and being able to do what we've been doing for the last 18 months.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm Katie. Jay sort of introduced me already. I'm a mum of 2 gorgeous little island children. Arlo and Ophelia are our kids. And I guess the only other thing you didn't mention is we live here on the island with Jace's parents, Jill and Grant, who, if anyone's been to Uepi before, would probably know them as well. They're looking after the kids right now.
That's very nice. It's nice to have grandparents around for that.
So lucky.
It's amazing.
Awesome. So I'm going to come right back in here, and I'm going to start with you guys, Jason and Kate. How did you end up on the Solomon Islands? Why Solomon Islands?
Well, my parents got pregnant with my brother, who's 4 years older than me, and decided to go on a dive holiday. So how that
in the 80s,
how that works, I don't know. But they had maternity leave after my brother was born. They packed up a 3-month-old baby and moved over to the Solomons for almost 6 months on an extended maternity leave, sabbatical, holiday, whatever you want to call it. And they stumbled across Uepi just through a contact in Australia, heard about it, and were able to make contact way back then. So this was in 1982. And it took them about 2 months, I think, to make contact with the island once they were physically in country and make the journey out here, which was on a very, very, very old ferry. They arrived in the middle of the night. They traveled across the lagoon in a tiny fiberglass canoe to get here, arrived at 4 a.m., I believe. And yeah, they watched the sunrise over the Morovo, and the rest is history. They've kind of been here ever since. So I guess I ended up here because I never knew anything different. This has been my life. My life has always been Uepi and Australia. So this is very much my home now and has been pretty much for my entire life. So I've grown up here since I was the same age as my kids when they moved here. I've had a whole lifetime of experience growing up and just, loving and living in this place. So that's how I ended up here, thanks to my 2 incredible parents who had the foresight to go on a holiday with a 3-month-old baby.
Very brave.
Yeah.
And I actually came to the Solomon Islands first before we met. I was a pharmacist, a clinical pharmacist working in a tertiary hospital in Australia, and I volunteered on a medical tour, which happened to be touring around the Morovo, and it was hosted by Uepi. And Jace happened to be the handsome blue-eyed island boy who was hosting the tour. And actually that trip for me changed my perspective on a lot of things, especially my life and what I wanted to achieve in my life, how I wanted to live, and what was kind of important. And I think I left Uepi realizing that things were never going to quite be the same again for the better. Not long after that, Jace snuck back to Oz and we caught up, and then 18 months later we were engaged and I moved to Uepi. So I shifted over here in 2015. So I've been here for a little over 6 years now. And
sounds like you're going to have a movie about yourself soon.
Maybe.
Awesome. And Belinda, how about you? How did you end up in Solomon?
Oh my goodness. It sounds like everybody's got a very interesting and unique story. I mean, the Solomon Islands is such an amazing place, and it's so remote and so unique that only interesting people kind of end up there, and always interesting stories. So my story is quite interesting as well. My previous life, I'm industrial psychologist, human resources professional, and worked at many places in the world, immigrated to Canada and met a really cool couple. And after my stint in the Caribbean, I came back to South Africa for a little bit, and I got a call from my friends. I actually got certified as an instructor in their dive shop in Canada, Vancouver, when I lived there. And they said, "Oh, we've got this idea. We want to launch a liveaboard in the Solomon Islands. Do you want to come and set up the business for us?" And I'm like, "Hell yes. Where is the Solomon Islands?" I had no idea. And I thought, okay, I'm going. So sure, that was 7-8 years ago. And went over and thought I was only going to go for a 1-year plan. That was it. Then I'm going to go. And the Solomons, as we all know, it's got this amazing, beautiful, fantastic charm. And once it hooks you, it's very hard to let go. So after relaunching or launching the liveaboard, it's now the Papua Solomons master liveaboard. I left for about 3 months and I thought, oh, you know, that was about 3 years and I'm going to go. And then Dive Munda and Munda, it's an absolutely magical place. And I was thinking about it and I couldn't get Munda out of my system. And I thought, oh, bugger it, I'm going to go back and relaunch the business at the beginning of 2016. And yes, as I say, the rest is history. So it's the Solomon Islands charm that gets you. And if you've ever visited or if you've lived there, you know that it's amazing. It's an amazing place, and it doesn't leave you. It's always there.
That sounds amazing. It's on my bucket list. I've done all these live chats and things with people, and my bucket list just keeps on growing. And I'm stuck here in COVID. I've got a long list, but I'm coming to Solomon for sure.
Oh, you should.
Okay, Belinda, so tell us a little bit more about Dive Munda. Tell us about your operation and what's been happening and what you've been doing through COVID and how you're staying alive a little bit.
Oh, that's a big question. Yes, where do I even start? Okay, let me start with Dive Munda. So Dive Munda is a small dive, we're an SSI instructor training center. I'm an instructor certifier. So it's been a wonderful journey working through being an island destination and being part of a resort, but just launching this business and just growing it. We are also a freediving center, Blue Ocean Center. We're also an extended range center. We work with instructors within the community and throughout the Solomon Islands to make sure that we can offer all these products to our guests visiting. As I've mentioned, I relaunched the business in 2016. It's absolute unique little place. And I always said, coming from being on the dive liveaboard and then being landlocked, I was trying to find that perfect place. And it's a little bit like Uepi. They have the same kind of setup where I really wanted to be in a place where you could still get that liveaboard experience, even though you're on land. For example, we have over 40 sites to choose from within 40 minutes of where we are, anything from World War II wrecks, cuts, caverns, caves, hard coral, soft coral, the whole shebang. So it's really a unique place. It's a fantastic spot to be, wonderful place to visit, awesome place to do training. From my side, we're very involved and have always been on developing of our local community and our people. I've trained every single staff member. I trained the first 2 female dive instructors in the history of the country. The first 2 assistant instructors, local females in the history of the country. So very, very focused on development of the communities, youth, females. We do lots of other projects like trying to launch the yoga project to try and get, Solomon Island people to become yoga instructors. We've partnered with the volunteer services abroad from New Zealand on that project. We do lots of stuff with the Coral Foundation, Sea Women of Melanesia, just to help people, locals develop the whole coral projects where they can get engaged. So lots of interesting projects, working with the local hospital, Back for Purpose. So we do lots of stuff for our communities. It's not just a dive operation. I mean, yes, we're an instructor and training center. It's an amazing place to come, but we do a lot of engagement projects like training the youth, for example, that we've did during COVID. So interesting place and a must visit for sure.
Tell us a little bit more about that youth training program that you did during COVID. That sounded so cool to me. I'm exactly like that. Educate as much as you can. And that's the cool thing about being able to be an instructor training center, being a certifier, is that you can actually give on your knowledge and help people creating jobs and all of this. So hearing about your youth training program sounded so amazing to me.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to talk about it. It's been a fantastic, absolute awesome ride. And I've also really focused on trying to do good during this crisis. And just a quick side story, I've launched Dive Munda Consulting, partnered with Business Link Pacific in New Zealand to use both of my skills, the diving part as well as the industrial psychology, human resources, to really be a business advisor for businesses in the South Pacific struggling through this crisis. I mean, how do you find a plan A, a plan B? How do you reskill? What do you do with your tourism operation? So that has been good. And then last year, Youth Day came, and for the first time ever, and I've been, on social media since 2016, we've done lots of cool stuff, but for the first time I had nothing to say. So Youth Day came, and I thought, what am I going to say? I don't know. I mean, it's tough times. And then I thought, bang, let's try something here. So we've got, like everybody, I mean, Uepi as well, so you've got such an amazing customer base. And I thought, I'm going to launch the youth training campaign to give my local instructors in the Solomon something to do, and also for us to continue to generate interest and contain that energy, but do something good during this crisis. So I've launched the youth training sponsorship program. And at first I thought, if I could just get 20 sponsorships, we'll co-fund. SSI partnered with us as well, which was fabulous. The airline partnered with us. And I thought, maybe just 20. 20 became 50, 50 became 80. And then eventually I had to stop it at 110 local Solomon Island youth that we were able to get them to become SSI open water divers, 60% female. So we kind of pushed with this, this promoting the industry, but also promoting diving. And also something I realized, which is why it started, is for us as a country, the Solomon Islands, we have a very big cap in terms of domestic tourism as it pertains to diving. And I really wanted to start changing that, not just making sure that our people start diving, but also training the youth, training the girls, to create a beautiful opportunity for the Solomon Island people to realize they've got this amazing gem, one of the most unique places in the world, that they need to kind of, understand that how important this is and why it needs to be protected. So phase 2 that we're just launching now is we've got about 20 sponsorship thus far for taking some of our youth to advanced open water divers through SSI, Advanced Adventurer. And then we're also doing projects with Plastic Wise Solomons to reduce plastic. We've just done a campaign on Oceans Day, coral restoration and coral replanting. We'll do that project. And yeah, so it's just the beginning, but we've been super fortunate and have had wonderful guests and people that partnered with us.
Yeah, that sounds so amazing. And it's so nice to have that customer base that supports you through things like this. I mean, it's obviously something good, and it's good for everyone. So that's really amazing. And keep us updated. And if anybody's more interested, if anybody listening wants to hear more, you can just, I'm sure you can just send Belinda a direct message on Facebook or Instagram, and you can learn a lot more about that. Okay,
yes,
Kate
please.
And Jason. Yeah, Kate and Jason, tell me a little bit more about Uepi. Uepi, that's how it's called, right?
Uepi, 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 however you want to say it, it's okay with us. Uepi. So Uepi is a super remote island. It's located on the outer barrier reef edge of the Morova Lagoon in the western province of the Solomon Islands. So the Morova Lagoon is the longest saltwater lagoon in the world. And I guess what makes one of the things geographically that makes Uepi so unique is that it is situated between two incredibly diverse ecosystems. So on one side, we have this lagoon ecosystem, which is phenomenal in its own right. And on the other side of the island, we have a deep water trench, which is 2,000 to 3,000 meters deep with a very steep drop off. And connecting these two ecosystems is Uepi Passage. So we're incredibly fortunate to be situated right on the edge of this deep water channel. So as well as having the obvious marine life, which is generated through currents passing through the channel every day as the tide goes in and out, we also have like the merging of these two ecosystems, which just creates this incredible environment. And I think that's probably one of the most special things about where we are and what makes us so unique. It creates incredible diving all around the area, but what's probably most fortunate is that our best and most well-known dive sites are literally right on our doorstep. So you're talking about 150 meters from the dive shop, or literally off the dive shop steps. So it's all right there, and it's all incredibly close. So a distant dive site for us is like 10 minutes. Most of our dive sites are within 5 minutes of the resort by boat. So it makes for a different diving experience in that you are able to do 2 or 3 dives in a day. yet still be back and have lunch in the resort, plenty of time to sit in your hammock and relax, read your book. If your spouse or your partner or your kids don't dive, still spend time with them during the day and still get out there and have those experiences and those hour-long dives in the water, but also be back on land for a large portion of the day, which is really, really cool and unique. So our family has been involved in Uepi since the very early 80s. So my mother and father, as I mentioned before, came here first in 1982 and got involved very shortly after. Uepi was the first sports diving operation in the country in 1983. So there's this long history of diving here in this area, which does kind of create its own culture around having this dive center there for so long. And that also, impacts how local communities perceive and interact with that environment as well. And that's pretty much the crux of Uepi, of why Uepi is here, is to protect this incredible environment that is right here on our doorstep. So we've been an SS Dive Center since 1992, I believe. And I guess the other thing that kind of makes us a little special and unique is our size. Like Belinda said, we're small dive centers compared to a lot of dive centers around the world. And Uepi is very much the same. It's a super intimate resort. When you stay with us, you are literally part of our family, and that's how you were treated. And it makes for a unique experience in the resort, but also in the water. So we have very small group numbers. We dive in smaller boats, smaller groups, to tailor make the sort of diving that people like to do, but also matching their skill levels, so that we're trying to make sure that every single person maximizes their diving experience when they're here diving with us. And I think it's a really, really unique and special thing for us. Obviously, the place to us is much more than a holiday destination. And I think what Belinda struck on before is really important. Special people come and stay in the Solomon Islands. That's what keeps you here. And the true reason why places succeed and continue to operate in this country is their engagement with the community. And it's crucially important in a place like this. We are definitely here to ensure that this environment that is right here on our doorstep is appreciated and respected and protected, but also that we contribute back to the community as much as we can. And Belinda said, some great examples of her engaging the local community to get them involved in diving and respecting that marine resource. And we do similar things, not as much on the training side, because obviously Belinda's a training center, more so than what we are. But we do a lot of engagement on the health and education side. So Uepi as an entity is part of the community, and we are connected to just about every single person who lives in this lagoon. That's 20,000 people, through our health and education programs, which are all sponsored by people who come and stay at the resort and connect with this incredible place and this incredible way of life and the incredible people that live here. And it's their stories that, just make people want to come back and get more and more and more. Like, people get addicted to the Solomons. We have clients who come every 6 to 12 months, and they have been for the last 25 years. Like, this is their second home. And it's people like that who want to give a little more and really make the projects that we run in health and education possible. And that's through our partner charity that we run here on the island. And that's what is truly great about having, I guess, working in an industry that is focused around protecting the environment and doing something really positive, is that everything that stems from it has positivity attached to it. So even though we're a dive resort, a lot of the areas we work in have nothing to do with diving, but they're so connected to the community that depends on that resource for their survival. And that's what's truly great about being a part of a place like this. It's truly unique. It really is.
That's amazing. And I think that shows us really well the importance of being sustainable in the diving industry. You can't just go and open a dive center somewhere and just not get involved and not do anything, because your resources are going to get lost, and you're not going to, if there's no more coral reef, if you don't take care of it, if you don't try and protect it, there's nothing left for you to work with. So I think that's a really good point you're making there. It's amazing. Now, tell me a little bit more how you guys have been using social media to make the rest of the world jealous of your life.
As I said before we went live, Jason and I never thought that we would be the type of people to share a lot on social media. But a few months into our COVID isolation, proper isolation on an island, very remote in the middle of nowhere with very little contact to people back home, we decided that why not start sharing our life a little online with the people who usually we'd be sharing our life with very openly when they visit the resort as a tourist or as a diver, as a traveler, whatever you like to call yourself. So we just sort of went with it. We created a family account called The Island Life of Us. And the purpose of that account for us was to start sharing the ins and outs of our daily life, our island lifestyle, so that it could kind of show people a little more authentically what it's really like for us to live here, and for it to complement what we were already sort of sharing on our Uepi social media, just with underwater content, that sort of thing. And we've been absolutely blown away with how it's been rewarding for us. For one thing, we've made some wonderful connections with people all around the world, like-minded souls who just seem to understand what it's like to live here. People who, you know, now we have calls with every other month. Like, it's unbelievable. We didn't expect that at all. But we've also just completely fallen in love with the creative aspect of it as well. So creating video, telling a story through videos has been something I in particular have found a real passion for. And I haven't had a creative outlet for a really long time. So this has sort of led us down the path of not just Instagram, but now we've just recently launched a YouTube channel where we hope to share more about our daily life and hopefully give some value to the people who are watching and might be entertained by the life that we live, and hopefully continue to share the message about protecting this beautiful place while it is still as beautiful as it is, in hope that more people around the world will work towards protecting it. So yeah, that's where we are now.
Yeah, we've got some really big ideas. And I think YouTube's a different platform for us too. Yeah. I think it gives us a bigger ability to tell stories and those positive messages. Yeah,
and raise awareness around topics that we're really interested in. And, you know, we're used to having pretty heavy, full-on discussions around the Uepi dinner table. When you stay with us as a guest, you're very much expected to put your phone away and have a conversation. So being able to do it online and generate conversation and real discussion around topics that are important to us and meaningful for the longevity of the community is what we're striving for. So hopefully watch this space. We're looking forward to sort of sharing a vlog style episode every week. So that's our goal at the moment. And yeah, we're really excited about it. It should be good.
Meant to be like a virtual being part of the Uepi family virtually, because not everyone can come and stay here and be here. And at the moment, no one can. So it's trying to create that side of it and not just we've got so much beautiful underwater content and everything like that going up. It's meant to tell the backstory and, you know, the vibe of what it's really like to live here.
I think it's actually, you know, Belinda mentioned earlier how the Solomons attracts really good people. Uepi, of course, part of the Solomons as well. Uepi tends to attract these really amazing people. And when we set out with the idea that we would go online and start a YouTube channel, we thought if we could create a huge, big virtual Uepi family, like we have a dinner table, we would just be so happy. It would be so meaningful for us and hopefully for the people watching as well. And so far we've released just a teaser, and the feedback from our clients who have been here before, everybody is so excited to get a little bit of Uepi in their living room every week. So I think that's a promising sign, hopefully.
That's really amazing. And I think it's a really good point that you guys are making, because at this time, with this whole COVID situation, people's their mindsets have shifted, and seeing content like yours, raw content that is really like in nature and like happening, is making people excited and making people want to go travel more. And it's people's mindsets have shifted. I mean, if you're just on the internet, if you are on social media, you see so many people just trying to change their life into a more sustainable way, and like realizing this throughout this period of being locked up. So that's really amazing.
Yeah.
You guys have 2 little children, right? Tell us a little bit more about bringing up children on an island by yourself, locked.
Well, luckily, we're not quite by ourselves.
Yeah, thank goodness for grandparents.
Yes, so we have Arlo, who's a little over 3 years old, and Ophelia, who is about 22 months old, living with us here. And they have been living with us here since they were 10 or 11 weeks each, respectively. So I guess what the coolest thing is that we have 3 generations of Kellys living on the island at the moment. And just having that experience and that exposure for our kids to all those different mindsets and outlooks on life and approaches to the environment and just how you live your life is so cool for our children. And that's what we want to impart on them the most. Living together and being here, enjoying, but also protecting this environment at the same time. I couldn't have asked for anything more in my life, to tell you the truth. It's so special. I mean, a beach trip is never just a trip to the beach. Arlo comes rocking back up the steps and says, Daddy, so these are all the different mollusks that we found at the beach, and lists them off. And look what Nana, we went and looked at the seagrass environment, and Nana has told me this are I was like, yep, I totally knew all that, Arlo. So they keep us on our toes. And I mean, I mentioned my mother and father a little bit earlier in their pioneering status in coming here in the 80s with their involvement in Uepi. And I mean, their passion for this place and this environment is just unrivaled, and their knowledge is just phenomenal. And to see that imparted at such a young age is just so amazing, because I never saw it being imparted on myself. You're naive to that when you are a child, but to see it third party is just incredible. And we're just cherishing that experience right now. And I mean, aside from the obvious, it's awesome having them here to help also manage the kids, because we're all very busy trying to survive and do our best during this difficult time. So having kids here is a real challenge. But yeah, it's just amazing having that multi-generational aspect here and seeing it unwind in front of you is just, it's really, really unique. And we hope that's what the channel shows as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think having kids on the island, I mean, I haven't lived here that long. I've been here just over 6 years. So I wasn't a diver before I came to Uepi. So, I'm still relatively new to it all, but having kids on the island, you see everything with fresh eyes. They pick up on little things that we overlook because it all just becomes normal, and kids really bring you back to the most raw experiences, and it's so enjoyable. Arlo, at only 3.5, we're almost ready to put him in an actual mask now, and that's just going to change everything once he can snorkel. And he's already swimming underwater with goggles and seeing sharks and seeing fish and everything like that, the giant corals and the kids have seen an insane amount of marine wildlife in their short lives so far. But once he gets a mask on, for us, it's just so exciting to think about the fact that we can do these beautiful snorkels together, and before we know it, he'll be diving and Philly will be diving. But yeah, it's certainly, having a family in a very remote area certainly comes with some challenges. We've already experienced a few situations that we wouldn't have experienced without kids, a few medical emergencies and things, but nothing that we can't handle, and only makes you stronger. So
we say in retrospect.
But it is, there's a lot of things you have to think of a little differently living so remote with children as well. And even during this COVID period, we've had to think about our children's immunizations and how we're trying to stick to the Australian immunization schedule and get vaccines over here and keep up with all those sorts of things. There's certainly challenges, but absolutely worth it. And we're so happy that we can live our life together and spend as much time as we can with the kids.
That's really amazing. And I mean, it's going to be great for the kids just growing up so close to nature, in and around water, and just experiencing life. Not a lot of kids can get this in this day and age. So
no, that's it. I was just something so funny when we went back to have Ophelia. She was born in Australia, and Arlo must have been 1.5. He wouldn't brush his teeth because he couldn't see the fish. He used to brush his teeth standing on the jetty looking at the fish, and we had this battle with him for weeks because we ended up having to get Jill to send us a really high definition video of fish on Uepi Point so that Arlo could watch the fish while he brushed his teeth. So it's not a normal childhood, we realize that, but it's definitely very special.
That's really amazing. Can't wait what they're going to be up to on your YouTube channel in the future.
Yeah.
So Belinda, you're an IC, right? So an instructor certifier. Tell us a little bit more about why Solomon Islands is such a great destination also to do pro training, to just come there for a few months and become an instructor. Because I mean, why not? Why do it in a cold lake somewhere if you can do it in Solomon Islands?
Exactly. Why not? Yeah, that's such an interesting question. And I just want to quickly tag on to, you know, the whole social media evolution. And I just want to quickly make a comment as well on what Jason Katie was saying, because I think during this time, we really do have such a unique opportunity in the dive sector for us doing pioneering work, doing stuff for the community and doing things for the islanders and in the small island nations that we work and we function within. Because I think as we continue through this crisis, the world's changing. And really starting to focus, I mean, through the consulting, I'm doing a lot of work with people that are in businesses and they're starting to see how they can capitalize on how the world is changing. And for us in the dive sector, in the tourism sector, it's really interesting because it will be looking much different on the other side. And we're looking at people will be traveling and they'll be focused more on sustainability. They'll be focusing more on proper focus of dive operations and people that are focused on the right things. So through what you guys are doing and really putting the message out there and all the stuff that we are doing in the Solomon Islands, I think these are really destinations that people should support because people are really focused on the right things. And I think not just on sustainability, but also working on diversity issues and really looking at mental health and wellness. Those are all things that people are going to start realizing is going to be important. And the work that you guys are doing and that we are doing and SSI is doing, I mean, just through this crisis, the amazing stuff that SSI has done and really empowered us as dive operators. And here I'm talking about giving me the ability as very early on to be able to do virtual Dive Munda, launch that part of the business to be able to really capitalize on supporting people that were stuck in places in the world and didn't have the option to be able to get to Munda or get to the Solomon Islands or get to Uepi to actually dive with us. So that kind of links onto what I feel for me as an instructor certifier that SSI has been such an amazing partner. And I think another thing that I also want to highlight, and this is what you guys are doing right now, is fabulous, Corinna, partnerships for us to be able to talk as a destination in the Solomon Islands, but partner with SSI, partner with Uepi, saying, you know, we are really all of us in this together. We are not an island anymore. We are connected because through this is how we're going to take the dive industry. This is how we're going to take our communities, take the dive operations, as well as the Solomon Islands forward. And you're asking me what makes the Solomons a very special destination for pros to come and train. And I was speaking to somebody this morning just to kind of brainstorm, you know, what did you experience when you came? You know, what are the things that really, you know, made you want to come and spend some time in the Solomons? And it really made me think of it differently because I was really focused on, you know, you can do your internship when you come to Dive Munda. We're an amazing location. We are so remote and that makes it special because you can really focus on doing your pro training. We have such diversity. I mean, we haven't even talked about what makes the Solomon special in terms of visiting. I mean, diving, hard corals, soft corals, World War II, sharks, manta rays, you know, the whole shebang. Really, it's about diversity. But through what we do at Dive Munda is you're also part of the community. So if you come and do your dive pro training with us, you are actually physically making a difference. You're making a difference to our corals, our people, our communities. You are investing in an area that really, you can see the difference that you are making. What I do when we have instructors, I'm doing an instructor training course, so we have people coming from some of the other South Pacific islands, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, and come. They're already done their instructor training course. They come there to become certified. It's a lot of fun, but what we focus on is giving them the experience. I'm almost saying you have to do an internship. Come and do it because we want you to be part of the community. We want you to see what we are doing. We want you to actively be involved and actually. It's not just about the you know, the theoretical training and that we get through SSR, but it's also about the experience. So getting back to what this person was telling me this morning about why is this such a great pro destination? Well, we have the most perfect conditions all year round. Jason was saying off camera earlier that, you know, we don't have a winter there. We really don't. It's board shorts and rash guard diving, and it's perfect conditions. And Dive Munda doesn't have an ocean, it doesn't have a pool. So you do all your training and all the stuff and all the skills, everything is done in confined water, is in the ocean. So that in itself is super, super special, you know. And then I think it's the opportunity to also work with our local instructors and give them the opportunity to learn and have that diversity come through. I mean, that's, I think, what makes it also very, very special coming to an island destination like us. We are one of a very few, select few instructor training centers, and there's only a couple of instructor certifiers in the South Pacific. So when you come to us, not just that it's an amazing place, but you're also really making a difference. And that's why I think this is really a perfect place to become a dive pro.
100%. And I really like what you said just now about priorities in people's minds shifting. And I'm 100% agreeing. Yeah. I think a lot of people, yes, the tourism industry is still struggling a little bit right now. We're not sure when we're going to open in most places. Some places are open, some not. But what we have seen in the places that have opened up worldwide, I mean, I'm talking, we just, I was telling you off camera earlier, Mexico, or another good example is Israel. The amounts of people that people can literally not, the dive centers cannot keep up. They don't have enough instructors. So if anybody's looking for a new career, maybe becoming an instructor right now is a good idea, because a lot of centers don't have enough instructors because people really want to experience stuff. Yeah. Being cooped up in an apartment maybe for 1.5 to 2 years just tells you, like, it shifts your priorities. I was like, I don't want this ever again. Let me go experience. It's really more about adventure and experience. So that's a really, really great point. And yeah, I would have totally done an internship in the Solomon Islands if I could have, so whoever's choosing. And internship is another one of those points. I also 100% agree. If it is in any way possible for you, if you want to become an instructor, always go with the internship, because you just learn so much over the regular instructor course. Yes, in an instructor course, you will be taught perfectly how to teach somebody, how to be safe. But if you are in an internship, you learn more about the local reefs. You learn where you can find what, at what point of the day is it best to dive here. You also learn in more detail how to run an operation, what's happening in a diving operation. So I'm 100,000,000% always for internship if possible. It's still good to become an instructor if you can't get the internship, but internship, if you can, is always great.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So now let's talk a little bit more, because you were saying we haven't actually even talked about the diving destination so much. So I'm going to start with Jason and Kate. What's your guys' top dive sites? Why do you, and tell me a little bit more about the dive sites, the marine life, what's going on there in Uepi?
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, as far as the dive sites go, we do have, like Belinda was mentioning, I think the Solomons in general has incredible diversity in what you can see, from big to small, with bottom on a wall. You know, the profiles are diverse, the marine life is diverse, like the fish life and coral life is phenomenal. The water quality is fantastic. The water temperature is really convenient. It's easy tropical diving. There are, you know, various skill levels, of course, for various different dives. But yeah, the diversity is incredible. And I guess if I had to pick my favorite dive sites, I would have to choose probably Uepi Point. It's the dive that, I mean, we actually don't dive that often at the moment because we're quite busy trying to do what we're doing here at the resort. We have 2 small children. But when we dive, we generally dive Uepi Point. It is a couple of 100 meters.
It's hard to beat.
By boat from our dive shop. It's the point that faces the open ocean. And I will have done that dive easily 2,000 times in my life. And I have never in my life had a single dive that hasn't presented something new to me. And to say that of any dive site anywhere in the world is, I think, quite unique. And it's because of this melding of ecosystems that exist there depending on what the current, you can get the current completely wrong. You can get in and the current's going the wrong direction. The viz is down, it's a horrible 20 meters. But but the fish life, because you have all this nutrient being flushed out of the lagoon, is just beyond belief. There's 4,000 fish within view in any one point in time. And particularly if you have the right mindset, and I hope this is why we do love our SSIs, I think it leads to this mindset that every dive can be the best dive that you've ever been on if you choose to make it that way. And so the viz can be off. The sharks might not be there. The fish life is insane. And that day, the macro life is just out of control. For some reason, the nudibrank's out and you see 25 different species of nudibranch on one dive or something incredible. Like, that's what Uepi Point is to me. It is the all-rounder that has the potential to be the best dive anyone ever does in their entire life. But it's always reliable and it's always got something different and something unique going on. To put that in perspective as to just how crazy it can be. And Belinda was just speaking about training people in this country. And this is probably my favorite story of anyone ever having a dive experience anywhere in the world.
I know what you're talking about.
Who was the instructor? Was that one? Actually, no, it was Mum. Mum actually took this one. Normally, our local instructors and dive masters take all of the dives, but for some reason, Mum was taking this resort course one day, this dive experience. Mum's obviously an instructor. Never dived before, and this
19,
lady had no. She had been you're thinking of the wrong one. The partner of a very, very experienced diver, and he had done hundreds of dives all around the world, and he was off diving with his friends, and she was having her first dive experience at Uepi, in amongst also having plenty of time in the hammock and reading a book. So she gets in the water, Uepi Point, on the sand. They get comfortable and they just teeter out onto the edge of Uepi Point. The shallowest point you can do the edge of Uepi Point looking down to New Georgia Sound, which is 2,000 meters deep, is about 8 meters, or 6 meters probably actually. So they're sitting about 6 or 8 meters and having a great dive, all the fish, the sharks, and my father, who's also an instructor, was over doing his own thing, checking out a patch of coral, and up swims a baby orca. Face to face with a lady who has never been on a dive in her life before. Her husband is uber experienced and told her all the things he's seen and how he's going to go diving to 30 meters. And I hope by some twist of fate, this lovely lady is watching this. They are presented with an orca, face on, baby orca, mum's off in the deep, just mum and the guest. And the orca proceeds to go vertical in the water, so tail almost on the surface by this time, because it's only like 6 meters deep. And then bobs over to dad, who is over there, bobs back to the guest and mum, and then swims off. They complete their dive, they get out of the water, and they arrive at the same time as the boat comes back from the boys' dive. And they get in, oh, Dale, how did you go on your first dive? She says, that was great, Jill. Do you always see orcas on that dive? Dead set. And the boys all burst out laughing, like, yeah, orca. And mum's like, no, we don't, but we did. So that was her first ever diving experience. The normal Uepi Point with an orca. And that's the Solomons, like down to a T. Uepi Point, or my other favorite, probably even more so, Elbow, just around the corner, you have the potential to see anything here because everything swims past. Yeah. And I mean, orcas aren't extremely common in the Solomons, but they do come through. They're their own family of orca that stay in this part of the Pacific. But on the Elbow, same sort of thing. It's really unique. The Elbow has a different upwelling. We tend to get cooler water coming up shallower there. So it's where we predominantly see our hammerhead sharks. But it has the potential just to see like phenomenal amounts of unusual things in one place. And that's what's crazy. I've had one dive there where I took a mate for a dive, and yeah, we had dolphins underwater, we had hammerheads, we had a turtle, eagle ray, and mobula rays up on the surface as we were exiting the water. And you get out of one of those dives, and you don't get them that often in your life. And I dive a lot here, and you're just like, wow, like the ocean just has some phenomenal things to show you. And other times that dive site's nice and, it's quiet, and it's a beautiful soft coral with fan dives with a couple of sharks, and it's just doing its normal thing. But that's what's unique. Amazing. And it's still amazing. Like those are your stock standard incredible dives in the Solomons. But sometimes these sites, and Belinda would have similar stories, I'm sure, that can just blow your doors off, and you just cannot believe what you've seen. And we're just really fortunate to have that right here on our doorstep, and be able to capitalize that, when the conditions are perfect, when you need to go, you go, and that's what it's all about.
There's some amazing excursion dives nearby as
well. As far as diversity, we have cave dives, we have swim through dives, we have coral gardens with bottom, we have lots of walls. So you expect in the Solomons, and definitely at Uepi, to see lots of sharks. We're probably most known for our sharks, being that Uepi has been protected for the last 30 years from any form of fishing pressure. What we have right there is definitely the most diverse fish life we have anywhere in the area. And then our extension dives, we have lots of beautiful topographical dives. We've got big cuts and slots in the rock. We have a Pinnacle Reef excursion dive, and a few wrecks around as well. We're not as wrecky as some of the other places in the Solomons. But yeah, there's great diversity, and that's what's, as Belinda said before, that's what's incredible. This country has got it all, and we're just so fortunate to have it right here on our doorstep. It's incredible.
Pretty special.
So that's the diving.
Do you guys take bookings yet, or?
We do. You probably.
We're still dealing with all the bookings that are rolling back.
Yeah, the rolling back is
people
really
that
tricky
keep reaching out who should have been here last year.
Very...
Can I book this year? But
very
hopefully
challenging.
soon.
It sounds really amazing. Belinda, tell us a little bit more about your favorite dive sites and why you love diving there so much.
Well, I mean, it's hard, as you obviously gathered, to shut us up when we start talking about the dive sites, because the Solomons is just unique. It is super special. And Uepi Pointer, by the way, is definitely my favorite in their neck of the woods, because it is like that. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. We have a similar site in Munda, which is called Shark Point. And so, by the way, which is the reason I moved. First time I ever dove there was hammerheads, black tip, white tip. We had everything going on, and plus mobile arrays, plus on the way back a dugong, plus. So I was like, okay, wow. I think I want to live here. Yeah, but I mean, it is the Solomons throughout the Solomons, and it's not just in our area in the Western Province. Western Province is superbly unique because we have the same thing there than we have for the rest of the country, which is cuts, caverns, caves, soft corals, sharks, hard corals. And I think the Solomons is definitely the hard coral capital of the world, no exception. Then we have World War II rigs, we have macro, we have deep dives that we can do, some of the more technical stuff on. Really, the diversity is phenomenal. So if you want to pick one place in the world that's got everything, the Solomons is your pick. I mean, sure, you can go to other places that just has rigs or just sharks or just this big schools, but if you want everything, the Solomons is absolutely, for sure, a destination of choice. And my favorite dive site, I was torn between Shark Point and when you start talking about pelagics, because I'm usually a pelagic diver, but the Solomons actually changed my mind, where I'm now a hard coral diver. I'm absolutely in love with the diversity of the hard corals that we have. So I think it has to be Bigo. It's called rainbow in local Riviana language, and we always say bigger and bigger. It was so good that they had to name it twice, but it was just basically rainbow because it's all this amazing color and diversity. And then we have one other absolutely stunning, unique dive site in close to where we are, and it's called the Cave of the Custom Shark. And it is phenomenal because you literally carry your gear on this little speck of an island in the middle of nowhere, beautiful horseshoe bay, and you carry your gear, you enter into a hole that's about 2 meters wide, drop down to about 17 meters, goes down the whole tunnel throughout the island, and it spits you out on this amazing, beautiful open ocean wall on the other side. Super, super unique. For those of you that want to check out, we've done some very specific videos, and we've collaborated with some amazing people that did the dive, and go on our YouTube channel or go on the Facebook page, because that's just one of those signature dives that it's hard to find places like that in the world. And so that's one of our special dives, and it's always very special to me to do that dive as well. So yeah, diversity, lots of sites, whatever you can think of, we have in the Solomons. But it's not just diving, other stuff as well.
Yeah, that's
custom culture,
actually my next question. Yeah, I'm actually interested also because we have families traveling, and sometimes not everybody in the family is diving. So I want to know a little bit more. Maybe Belinda, you can build up right on what you just said. Tell me a little bit more what non-diving activities are there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think a great destination to go is Uepi for kids. I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to talk a little bit more about that, but it's true. It's not just for it's not just a dive destination. I think that's been a misconception for so long, and we are collectively trying so hard to change that perception because it's a safe destination. It's for the whole family. I mean, you could snorkel, you can just, if you're a World War II enthusiast, there's just so many land activities to see. I mean, hiking, birding. I mean, this is just the birding has now exploded in the Solomon Islands, and it's fantastic because you can sup, you can kayak. They have some beautiful kayak tours as well. Anything that's got to do with water, custom culture. I think the Solomons is one of the most unique places in the world where, we come from our head hunting days, and then we've got the World War II history, and then we've got the most beautiful smiles in the world. And then you mix that with this concoction of the only place in the world where you can find Melanesian, Polynesian, Micronesian people. So it's just really just concoction of amazing people. And then you bring some of the expats from all over the world. And it's just a beautiful, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm so excited talking about the Solomons. It's just an amazing place. And it's really, it hooks you, it's unique, it's special. And the only way that you can ever take my word for it is actually coming and visiting and experiencing it for yourself. It's special.
Awesome. I think the same question actually goes to Jason and Kate. What maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the kids side, because I know dive destinations like the Solomon, very often people just think that they can go by themselves but have to leave the kids behind. So tell us more about why not to do that maybe.
Yeah, bring your kids.
Absolutely.
Absolutely bring your kids to the Solomons.
It's actually an area that we've really focused on for a long time because of what I mentioned before of how close the diving is. So you can actually have a holiday with your family and still enjoy your passion. And I mean, we have a number of families I could rattle off the top of my head where that's why they come back, is because it's pretty hard to find that where you're not losing that connection with them all day, and you can still share all those unique experiences that you have around the diving as well.
Yeah, and we're certainly not a Club Med kind of experience where you send the kids off to kids club. We're all about incorporating, activities that are suitable for the whole family, things that you can do together. We're obviously a family that's really passionate about the environment, so we love to encourage kids to get into our library and look up the things that they've seen and go looking for different things that they want to find. And we've had kids as young as 7 spot seahorses in the lagoon and incredible things that we haven't been able to find at times. So kids can certainly have a wonderful experience here. Another really fun custom experience for families is to actually do a village tour. So when you're staying here at Uepi with us, we do offer a tour where you can go to a local community and visit the school. And it's a real reality check, I think, for a lot of school age children in particular, just to go and see what it's actually like for the villagers here, what limited resources that they actually have it in their schools, but how they still make the best of it.
How they thrive. It's incredible.
Yeah. And to interact on that level actually in the village with other children and other families to see how people live their lives. And that's often what brings people back as well, is knowing that, in a year or 2 years' time, they can come back and go back to that same village and see how things might have improved with different programs that might be going on with the charity and whatnot. So, and we were in Honiara. For a medical emergency, everything's fine. Our daughter had a little accident, she's okay. But when we were there in Honiara, we decided, you know what, we're going to make the most of this because we've never had this kind of time in Honiara together. And we went and did Tenaru Falls.
Yeah.
And it was remarkable. Absolutely amazing. A little hike, not little, it was quite a big hike with 2 children. It was quite a feat actually, but absolutely incredible experience to go and see one of the Solomon's most beautiful waterfalls. And we're going back. Like I'm so ready to go back there. It was a wonderful experience. The lodge that hosted us up there was spectacular. Everything about it was great.
It was such an incredible experience.
Yeah, and just that recent experience for us has really reminded us that there's so much to see in this country, not just in the West, but all over Guadalcanal. There's amazing experiences to have. And don't limit it to the water for sure.
Because here we do have, like, there's limited hiking. We've
Yes.
got beautiful bushwalks through the island and everything as well. I mean, our main non-diving based activities would still be focused around the water. So it's still going to be kayaking or snorkeling, or for us, a huge one is stand-up paddleboarding.
Yeah. People
And
love that.
the reason why it's
Same.
so
Yeah,
probably
us as well.
so awesome here is just because of the shallow lagoon water that we have out directly out front of the bungalows has a seagrass patch which hosts so much life. Dead set. We've had kids come back and see more on their supping trip than their parents have on an hour-long dive with an incredible profile like
sharks,
that.
dugongs,
Like, it's all, there's
mantas.
so much stuff right there. And I think because you're standing up on a board looking down, you just perceive so much more. You see so much more through the water. There's all that element of as well. And that to us is what it's about. We call ourselves a no-star resort. It's a very comfortable resort, a no-star resort in a 5-star location.
It's all
We're
about
about
what's around
getting
us.
people out, enjoying the environment and connecting with it, and having that connection, which will then generate that desire to protect it. And the more people that we think we can get out there who can actually engage and actually have that, like, you can have a relationship with an animal in the water. I mean, what was that?
My octopus teacher.
My octopus teacher, like, he just blew that concept out of the water. That's real. And that's why divers do this. That's why they have this as their primary sport, because they love that connection with the underwater world. And if we can bring that to people who aren't yet diving, possibly get them in the water, that to us is what it's all about. And I mean, my mother and father had that vision from the very, very beginning. It's always been about getting people out of the room, out of the restaurant, into the environment and enjoying it. And that's what everything we do is focused around. And
if you want a cocktail in a hammock, that's also fine.
And our new bungalows are also very comfortable, as are our old ones. Oh gosh,
so much to do.
Yeah.
That sounds really well. You got me jealous. I wanna come. I'll come soon. I'll come eventually.
That's right. You can live virtually through us until then.
We'll do our best.
I'll follow all of you guys on YouTube so long, and
there you go.
Instagram, of course. Super exciting. That's pretty much it from my side. We have a lot of comments here. People saying hello from all over the world. Not really any questions, but a lot of people excited to come to Solomon Islands eventually. I mean, like I said,
we're ready.
We'll be ready.
Yes.
We can't wait. Can't come soon enough.
Please.
Right.
That's it.
No, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for listening. If you are watching this in the replay, you can still just ask any questions you have into the comments, and we will come back, of course, to just answer any questions and comments there are. Otherwise, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for taking the time out of your Sunday. I mean, it's Sunday. People have other things on Sunday usually.
We don't know what day of the week it is. It's fine.
We're on island time. Sorry. Days mean nothing here.
That's really nice, though.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and for everybody that listened. And we can't wait to have you visit us in the Solomons.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us along.
Thanks so much, Corinna.
Thanks.
Corinna.